Good morning, everyone. So our retreat is now only one day left, and today is the day to honor those who have been here, like practicing the third year Tegel to get their Zen, and then the fifth year, the Shamthab, and then hope that all of you enjoyed the retreat and you're happy, content, and then you will go back as a bodhisattva, as a saint, as a Buddha with a big smile and go back home and make everyone happy. So I request Gyangkhang Rinpoche to give us the advice and then the purpose of wearing this Zen and Shamthab, and then he will be handing this to you all. Thank you.
This come, no need for session.
다 나와지기 다치 타투네 한다다 말을 잡지는 뭐지기 다 샤주비네 감나 아니 냠레 나게 솔라 아니 zen 나에 당 아니 샴답 데 나에기다 차솔데 아니 몬투네 다리 저라는 거 솔라다 zen 당 샴답 저 표요레스.
So now that our 1 month retreat is ending, and then as the tradition that we have here, led by our late holiness, to give you the Zen and Shamthab. So according to that tradition, then you all received that. So this is the day to celebrate that.
다와지기는 갈라다 안서 렌도 소치네 데 강투도 라나 소소문에 냠레 조요레스.
So in this 1 month, then to the best we can, so we all tried our best to make this retreat very successful.
And that 소소기 냠레 다와지기는 갈칸 나샤와데 네야 나우도디야 마로도 위캅슬라야 니 직주진 냠레 문투네 네 준정에데 베마스 케쳔보레스 ngaranso 잡지는 뭐지 가디나 데 갈롭낭데기요레.
And then after being here for 1 month, then when you go back, then whatever you have studied, practiced here, so that you need to continue when you go back home, and not to stop, keep on continuing. So this is also what our late holiness used to advise, that always you have to continue whatever practicing, whatever you have studied here.
아니 냠레 세 데다 ngaranso 가디 있나야다 제데고에 지다 미체다 아니 지 가르쳐 최다 된소 탐제 아니 미체다 루바 냠바스네 대신에 냠레 제구여마도 아니 한 참참제 참참 마제진에 라송아이나 ngaranso 가르쳐 최 두베기 아니 검시 장보데 아니 한 파파 라도여 데차여레.
So this practice, what you need to do is you have to practice this make it a lifelong practice, not just sometimes you practice and sometimes you do not practice. So it's not like that. You have to make it into this habit, not just like for a short time, but make it into a lifelong practice. So if in that way, then if you're able to do it, so this is how that we should be practicing, mingling your lifestyle, your life with the Dharma.
단대기 내단라다 미소 무드제 지도알 삼성 무드 야고 삼성 무드 자서도 마임바 아니 최대 무드 야고 갑라인 루구그레 아니 무드 야고 메비 갑라인 루구그레스.
So we shouldn't be moody, like sometimes when you're moody to then you practice Dharma and you don't have the mood to practice Dharma, so you skip that. So you shouldn't do like that. So what you need to do is, whether you're in mood to practice Dharma or whether you're not in mood to practice Dharma, that you should keep on practicing the Dharma.
아니 다 최세 되게 아니지 지당 전대당 지만이 제운데 아니 문에 제바이나 아니 제 치마디다 준ring한다고 지 자요레스 이나양 알안속다 망체와지기 전대기 아니 대지두에 전대기 롱주 망보조에레 된대기 돌아야는 배조 자세 자주급주 타상데 대초들 로딩에 망보요레스.
Dharma is must be helpful, especially in our the next lives, because if you compare the duration of this life and then the life to come afterwards, then the next lives are so long, so it's kind of, you cannot even compare that. So but what happened to us is most of us, like 90% of us, we are so much concerned about this life, and then spend our time just for the fulfill the purpose of this life, and this is how then we have become so much habituated in just fulfilling the purposes of this life alone.
Ni jidan sendigi da di chi duere longche duere dubgo da logo se ina ya sendi se da loja dang peje ngabju dengen tingsan thoya yo marwas de indi da loja dang de nangsu gi da keben da de nangsu la ne so so le pen thoya chi ri ma do de pen che la ni ma chi u che chan ne zong de da de tham je a sha ne ro che re.
So then and this life is not very long, so maybe if we can live at about 100 years or roughly around 50 years. So of course, as as we are living in this world, we need to make our life living, and then the life comfortable and all this. But then it's not just that fulfilling the wishes and then the needs of this life alone is not sufficient. This is what we shouldn't be focusing. So as a Dharma practitioner, then we have to think about a longer term, how you can make the best use of this opportunity to help us in a long-term benefits.
Ni yang chi kaji samgre da shi se samno tang gwe mendo aste samno tang semba jibo me nda ani yungwe da chi samno korgi res ina de da demba res ina yang chiwa de samno kor jene ani chi soso gi migda masna migjang ringbo la samno tang thowa chi chage yo res chiwa de samno ma kor yongdi ani chi soso chi karsa ure nimo karsa delo mepa samo ya nyelo mepa tende chine da lega che do kale jab de ti ani chi khazu ji pa do de gi tunje di yung thogu do tawa ina te ga ji da so so gi karsa ure ngui bi ne sur de da ha ko to wa ji yung go re.
Then of course if you think that the uncertainty of death and then the life after, then some may be thinking that, oh, that's not necessary, or it is something that is troubling, bothering yourself, worrying yourself. But then if you just think that you all of us are working day and night just to fulfill the purpose of this life, and then if you see that this life is just short, and then whatever you have done to accomplish the purpose of this life is so limited, then in that case, then you'll see that it's not something that you're doing to benefit for a long term. So it's just for a temporary benefit.
Lugi jungwa tenzo ina da ma gui dugo res de indi eni chi rimbe ni namshi da so gola ne na sa de ji po che ne da member ge ina da chi he mendu se ge ni ma ji da shine karso accident ro ina de ma do de ji da ngaran so lo yunge ji res.
Then it's very obvious that that our the elements, our health, as we the time go by, then it degenerate. We see that the elements are losing its the potency, and then getting old, then afterwards getting sick, and then you're on this you get bedridden, and then the doctors come and try to help you, but then they said that there's nothing they can do, so like that, then you can see that unless you had someone like an accidental death, so that kind of process of dying, you can see that, and that's the truth, the reality.
Tanang siya na siya accident daw siya doon na naktom chin siya bere, ani jikan samno tanglo ragi mares.
As I just told you, if you die in an accident, then it's just a blackout. Then you don't have all this, go through all this process.
That day in the energy Namshi Tangaranso Sangmala de Yunga in the Kapsulata, so Samotang it is.
So this will happen to all of us. So this, how will you manage that? What you should be. So this is what you should be thinking and preparing.
The Kapsula and Eji Sosola Juno Lonche Kase, Zeji Yoa Inayang, that's so Lutuede Yunguyo Maris.
During that time, then you may have a lump sum of wealth, possessions and all this, but in that time, there's nothing that can save your life.
And it's Soso Namji in that lawyer Kakeva, she which is a Japanese Samadan, the Karisagore, and Echi, Tim Gitone, and Caritone, and Soso Gitochenia, Winchi to it, and Rigi and the Kapsula, that Kadebushi Sayomaris.
So usually when you're in problem, you can hire the best of the lawyers and then solve your problem. But in that situation, there's no lawyer who is very eloquent and then can fight for your causes. So you cannot go and hire and those kind of the lawyers to speak for you.
In the Kapsula, Sosugita, Pugu, Pugu Nandra, and Sosugita, Duro in Nandra, that Sosugit Nini do Kandeji or in the Kapsula, that hang some gene, that is Samba Duni de Chirmaduchi, Chigami, to Sujile, Yuris.
That time, then you have your friends, family, your partners, then all of them will be there feeling helpless and worried, and then they just watch you, and then they cannot do anything at that time.
The Kapsula, that's also Chewachimal Dore on the, then it's also Samnochi Tango Grace. Tang a Tendila in a Tachi, Juno Lonche, Mambo Sa, she would Tendila, Tendi Chedu, that the Chidu Chedu, Lega Mambochi Zoyorde, that Shirim Kasula Chikan Pema, so as the Indushirim Kasula, Dangala, the Chikan Kame Bachine, that Dre in Bachanazota, Hakoji Bares.
So that time, then whatever kind of hard work that you have done and then accumulated lots of wealth and all this, but that time then you will really understand that all those things, whatever you have, you don't have any kind of power or ability to take that along with you in your next life. So this is what, that time, then you will go through that kind of experience.
Tadang Aranzogi, Tendila, Macheba, Nezunde, and Mashik Pardo, Soso, Shivuchi, Chenzinji, the Lu de Anti Capsulata, Unidrosha, Madokia, Mare.
This precious body that we have cherished from, child, since we are born, and all this caring, cherishing it so much, and that too, you have to leave aside and then live and go.
The Capsula, and Soso Samtana, Tangagi, Ya Tarbal and Droegi, any Leji Che down, any Mang, and Son and Droegi, Le Mangachi Chedus, and that's some Korea to Chagorist.
So that time, then you'll be contemplating that what kind of karma that I have accumulated. Have I accumulated the karma that will lead me to a higher rebirth and liberation? Or I have accumulated the karma that will take me to the lower realms. So this is how, what you will be kind of contemplating.
Some of Korean. Tangaranzo, Nelson and Roegi late, Tacharanzo Chiti Mambusha, Junior Bushi Mugoche, Naranzo, Nelson Roegi late, Sharta Shore to Kawai, Kaduina, Sadi, Chagores, Penangaranzo, Combaji Jam and Roy and Migi Matone, Semje, Buchunjun, Kazukazu Zishagores. The Zotam Aranzo Haku Marista, today Chinangaranzo, Chig laying embassy, that Sharta Shore. Halam Nimarina Lepena Jajang up to Tuju, the region around the shadow short to Sadu race. And the lay gave us the Hajang in Yun, 아니 지 곰라고 때즈 자와이나 까마카시 자와이나 개바 나용한다고 야지 니쿠 용한다고 지 마대완도 손다고 아니 지 개위기 콜롱데 하장게 뇽뇽 니마레나 다지 자자 주니슈 근데마도 삼노고 마도와지는 거는 좀 미세데 제 차와레스.
Then if you look back at how you lived, then the karma that will lead us, cause us to take rebirth in the three lower realms, kind of come to you automatically, even like unintentionally when you're walking around, then you're stepping on insects and killing them, and that kind of negative karma. So as in our life, then all these things, even though we do not intend to do that, it just happens as we walk by or do all those things. And in the same way, then all those negative karma, habituation, they just come to us automatically, and in that way then we are accumulating this karma to take rebirth in the three lower realms. Then if you think about the good things, the virtue that you are accumulating, let's say you want to meditate, then after a few minutes of meditation, then you feel sleepy, tired, or you have pain, and in that way, this the virtuous thought that comes to our mind is very limited. Maybe you can think about like 10-15% or so in that way. Then see that how rare all those the positive karma and the virtue that you accumulate in this life is very limited.
아니 다치 야고진 루 투요 웬 켄당 대간은 진다 개위 자와이나 레상보 야가 가주 두두지 수수기 미스데라 사 통견지 인송아이나 디가슬라 오 당하기 레게와 강토두지 진다 제와치망 덴로질 르에 네바르두 로투에지 차여 산의 소소기 로데고 삼바지보치는 로초에지 차여레스 다 디가슬라 마란조 딘데지니 최두에 다 레게와 도지 강양 미스데라 사마투와 마제 아니지 멜라네제 딘데기다 맨다 요주 함숨기 레 망보지 사데나 다 디가슬라 아니다 낸송런드에 임바지자인디 디가슬라 소소다 강양 제답 메와 다징에 셰바나시리 미 로고 전부 파워 연경 간데지나 디가슬라다 지강 제답 메와지 두저 랩사와리 데디 아니 삼노 코로나 다 치사와리.
Then so that time, then when you're in the bedridden, that then when you are contemplating and seeing that what kind of negative karma that you have accumulated, what kind of positive karma that you have accumulated, then when you check those, then you see that you have done more of the negative karma, like jealous, like deceiving others, then lying and all this. You have done more, and then what you have done, the positive karmas is very limited, that you see that there's not that much that is the good thing that you have done, the dharma that you have done. So if you think in that way, then at that time, then you think that then definitely I will be going to the three lower realms. And then that time, even if you want to do something, then you are helpless, you cannot do anything. And as said earlier, even though you are so famous, then you have all this power and resources, so that time then you will feel helpless, and then there's nothing that you can do. So so that kind of situation can happen to us.
이 갑라 당아란소 데라 직 다춘라고 데스 쇼이네 냠렌 시라 제 마라 근데 인데 다직 잡지름 부지 고래 오늘 단에 두제 몰람 아니 남제네 아니 응아란소라 단다 젠 샴답 딘데진마 남게요레 다디 갑슬라 다소소 최시라 직 조투 메와 있나야 다 시레미 갑슬라 소소기 젠 샴답 딘조이나 고연진 다 소소 삼노 땅진네 셈라 lakba de zensham la jajine ta ngarang sendela diga ji chu ja chenbu ji dang ani tharbar roe gi le sa yo me de ha ko ma zon de ina yang ta jabje rumbu ji gi densa dinde jabje rumbu ji gi zochen gi chu song sa ngon ro gi chu song sa dinde la ngarang ta dawa jik ji ni ma khashi ji da de la jawa ji ja ye jung song ta de gi connection da bu de tu je ne da ngarang zo ben shin ro ga la ina da zensham de zo da jabje rumbu ji gi ma 문투네 네 직주바 요대와게 낭샤주데 알아서 거에네 시송아이나 대기 가르서 진랍라 때네 제와시만 땡땡 연송도 로먹어지 아니 용토에 차거리
And then that time, then you can also think that whatever kind of dharma practices that you have received in this retreat, and then you think that you are helpless, but still then thinking about the blessing of the lineage, and then blessing of our late holiness, his compassionate activity, and then thinking that even though I haven't done this dharma accordingly, but still I have made some connection with the lineage, with the dharma. So with that in your mind, then you can wear this Zen and Shamthab, and even though if you're not able to wear it, you can keep it in your hands, and then so with that kind of thinking, positive thinking about the late holiness, the lineage, then the little bit of dharma activity that you have done. So that kind of connection that you have, then definitely it will lead you to give to connect to the positive in your next life, and with that power, then definitely you can stop your rebirth, to be born in the three lower realms by the blessing of the holiness and the blessing of the lineage.
데인데 네 제 저런저다 네 다지 응원을 다 치와스는 망부시에 대해 데인데 치위 갑라이나야 아니 소소 다지 도로이나레 아니 로바이나레 땅 아가시 시송아이나 땡에 젠샴데 내가 거네 아니 지 로사이나레 가르치나 데네 지로지스다 랍샤와이나 데기 땡땡 아니 지 커넥션 지기 녀손도 드럼거와 마음바나다 줘봐 야보지 아니 차도 땡땡 용그레스.
Then that time you can also ask your friends, families, or your spouses to, when I die, then you put this Zen Shamthab over my body, and then also cremate this with me. So if you do like that, definitely then this has the power that you will not be bound in three lower realms because of this the blessing that it carries.
데인데 다지 제양 소소기 조고단 보고 된서 최시다 하마고네나 다 시도되든 데서 담제다 육셔그레스 갈베지나.
If you have friends and families who don't know about the Dharma and they don't know the value of this Zen and Shamthab, so they'll just dump it in the garbage.
빈빈자된 소이나 낭바마이나 at least 난 데지ങ്ങൾ 지로지선에 저런서 라와이나 그런서 대가지 지와이나 저런서 네지 소소기 년년저기 조제네 네 제와치마 단 덴로 아니 초바상보질란 로트웨지 네 차도가 진거레스.
So even though they are not the Buddhists, your friends and family, still they can you can ask them to do this favor for you, so that by this power of the Zen and Shamthab, then if they do that for you, so that would be of tremendous help, and then you'll not be born in the three lower realms.
인디다 단다 젠다 샴답 된조기 나란조 추기 커넥션 제네 인디 커넥션 데이터 잡지름 부제기 투제 모남 그 발라 러시아인데 나란조 가두이나다 두가지 차그만.
Then they're creating this connection even with this simple Zen and Shamthab, and then you're creating that the last continuous aspiration connection, and then because of the compassion, the spontaneous continuous compassion activity of the late holiness, and then the lineage and the Dharma. So definitely nothing bad will happen to you, and in that way you can at least connect again in your next life with the Dharma, and then be able to continue the Dharma practices.
아니 나 단단히 땅에 지단에다 시위 갑라시에 좀 계제시 시샤와 지레스니 다 말한서 Zen and Shamthab 조에는 잡지름 부지기 두준 딱바레시 송그레스 지 든데지는 Zen Shamthab 조 니마지 거아이나 니마지라 소소기 레지 드바든조 가르사고라 다 통로에서 든데지 잡지름 부지 송데 데레스 데인데 말한서 다 저런서 두준 먼저이나 다 잡아다고 차데 가디에는 Zen Sham 거야 요래 저런서 다 레간로 든데지 든데다 거야 요즘 말데 이나 다 쇼관다보레 간던다본 덴비 갑라 데스거 아니 파샤 자위 갑라이나 말한서 두준 둘로나시 마임바 안 최샴다보요나 데 토살라야 장살라야 자 다 든데지니 구십지에 베마스 게침으레.
So I was talking about how to use this as your last minute. I'm adding that 911 call, and now I'm going to talk about how you can use this in your daily lives. Then you can use this Zen and Shamthab when you are practicing. Of course, you cannot wear this all the time, go to work with wearing this Zen and Shamthab, but then whenever you're doing your morning practices, evening practices, then you wear it. Then after wearing that, then make it, fold it nicely and keep on your altar, respect it, and then in that way, it's said that even as a monk, when we wear this, the monk's robe, it said that Our Late Holiness used to say that just by wearing this robe, then whatever negative karma that you have accumulated in one day would be purified. So like that, then if you wear this Zen Shamthab, if you cannot wear all the time, at least in the morning and then evening, whenever you do practices, if you wear this, then definitely the karma of that day can be cleansed just by wearing this Zen and Shamthab.
이리마도네 가란조 개완라고지메나 아니 지 Zen Shamthab 단대기 내단라고 해난 거죠. 야마 점불린 가와가서 저 Zen Shamthab 거는데 얘네 지 보기 근데 보모 스커트라고 그하랬던 삼자 미저 개무션데 지도스 티 개와메나 당고저 거는데 미저 들라나 서브라고 지다 통고도스 이나데 개와 짜침부지인데 니 가디나 거는데 자그레스 저런 속에 아니 지다 개촌롱 마인데 저런 속에 단다 남사대한다 최박의 남사지레스 개촌롱의 남사다 말인데 최박의 남사지레스 대인데 이 된서 점점 그에 개침물에.
So when we travel and then wearing this Zen and Shamthab, then some comments that why are you wearing this skirt? So for the monks, so those people who are not familiar with the Dharma, so they make that kind of comment. But still, neglecting all those comments, we whenever we are traveling, then we wear this Zen and Shamthab, knowing that the blessing that it carries. So that's why then we are doing it. And then in your case, as you are not ordained, still this Zen and Shamthab is the dress of the practitioners. So you so if you wear this, definitely it carries that the blessing.
And they don't any garanso garsore. That's it. Chubaji in the Kadina Tanang Jahai the Pemasin Kachambures.
Then as a practitioner, then one very important thing is always to train yourself in this pure view or pure perception.
Any chick Sosugi, Tanan Jama, I say, any Mijengi Sosola tone, any chick Taupiki, now one shot to a Yabuzo heading around to Kachambu Chagris.
Then not only you are training yourself in this pure perception, then even if someone is looking at you, then to those people also you thinking that just by seeing you, then they can have that kind of pure view, pure perception. So you should make it like that, that whoever sees you will see you, thinking about these pure perceptions.
Any chick Zen and Shamthab then so can be covered and be said and tumba, a yabuchi can go raise that and what a kai marinam sang, yabuchi can to Marde in a Zen, Shamthab can be covered and that meets a good tone the day Yabu do some chick, Troa chick, Zoku, Rimata, Charanzo can be covered at any chick, Karsagore, Kondan, Karsagore, that chick. Chila shibuchin jik kama second chick nan kwenche answer samla tende kwende wan mege so ta on ta dita kare ina chick te samga thambo ye men rabuji men ro same tende gi masamba chi so ko res kwende ina be apuda tende chin kwengu res.
Then when, of course, you just, the beginners, you just receive this Zen and Shamthab, maybe it will take some time to get accustomed, but still you train yourself, take time to wear it properly so that when others see you, then they will see you as a perfect model. And but then of course it takes some time, but then if you just hurry up and then wear this like all clumsy way of wearing that, then maybe some people may think that you may have some mental issues. So make sure that you train yourself properly and then take time to make sure that everything is wear it in a proper manner so that when someone sees you, then they will see you as a saints, Buddhist saints.
Ni penang anzugi na tulo tipsi tu norjo jab dewa na chik tadi chik karako karicha na samson doji samna kogu do aste ni chik proper chin yaku chin pe mas kechen bores te mado dan choso nan de thon karsa soso gita pugu na re miso thon te tulo khenza shibu koran so mocha go ate ko yo mares yaku chin ko bores.
Even putting the buttons and all this, then if you see that it's not done properly, then people think that it's crazy, improper. And likewise, then if you don't put this Zen and Shamthab properly, then your families, friends and family may be thinking it's a crazy thing, something crazy is going on with you guys. So make sure that you wear it like very neat, tightly, so that it will be pleasing for them.
Ni ta tendegi thoni na chela tangwa che thoa chi yungres pena soso sensham ina yabu ju ma na meso ta de kharcha na chi the crazy the lag mes mental issue the metro tulo kwenda ina yabu khom mendo samen dabu chi chana ani chela deba che pha ja chela na lokta che ju cha do res de ni kombi kable na yabu ji khwen de ke chimbu re dos.
Now, when you wear this Zen and Shamthab, it's very important to wear them nicely, properly, tightly. So even by this action, then you can make other people think that, oh, Dharma is something good, must be good, because this guy is dressed so nicely and it looks so perfect. So if not, then if you wear it in a clumsy way and then not wearing this properly, then people may think that, oh, maybe he's not totally crazy, but some kind of mental issue is still, this guy may be having that. So we shouldn't make other people think in that way. We should make other people see you, how you, even by the dress that you're wearing, can have a positive effect in their perception, especially in the Buddhist and to you individually.
Indeed, Miss Yang soso la tawa na karso deba che to tangwan ren to ba chi gu yes and sungu yores te soso gi ina ya Miss Yang la phata we kapsula ina ya tawin tana jang de pe mas ke chembores penna ta maranzo mang chewa hako de gi jizu mela raba gi lama rabol cha cha so ina ya ani chi sing mo de gen rabu da ani nang family in de gen de rabu da ya kashi nya song de gen da nya ba rabu da de chi ni lama mangbo ta 치기 남줄라 진대지니 페바레데 이나양 코남바게 답이 나와 장 데이톱지 아니 추슈 아니 냠nen제네 드로바 톱송아레마도 엔지 인지미니 라마세데 백케다 첨부더부지다 아니 지 곰바 첨부지기 다고인데 세트 첨부간 데데 고신 고엔딩에 진대다부 임빙에 바요 마레스.
Then in that way. Even just, not only yourself having that pure perception and make other people feel good, have that pure attitude or feeling towards you when you see that. And then we as a practitioner especially also must train in this pure view, pure perception. Then if you look back at the history, then you can see in terms of Milarepa, when he first met his teacher, Marpa, he was there like an ordinary person, farmer, cultivating his field. And in that way, then you can see some they were fishermen, and then some they were like hunters and all this. So all this external appearance were not like they were on the high golden thrones wearing all these silk brocades and then had a big follower, had a big country. So not like that. So then the lamas externally they can appear in all these different ways. Then what Milarepa and others did was to them, then they had that pure view, the pure perception, and because of their pure perception, then they followed them and received the teachings and practice, and this is how they got liberated. So taking them as the example, we should also then train ourselves in this pure perception.
아니 지 당당 야부지 매송아이나 아니 지 라마 깨다 전부 간데모 간데지 임바이나야 되기 소소 도와 도바이데 칼레 카부레스 당당 야부지 요아이나 아니 지 강사 탭자지기나 소소를 펜토에 찍찍마도 깨져 시마주나 되기 또지 도와 토토에 임해요레스.
If you do not have that kind of pure perception, however great the Lama is, however famous the Lama is, then even if you receive the teachings, then maybe you'll not be liberated. But if you have this pure perception, then even though the Lama is just an ordinary Lama, and just by receiving a few instructions, few teachings from them, and so that can become the cause of liberation.
아니 지 그런 로지레 와나지 산제라양 아니 강사 타마르바통 레진이나 데 통제네다 공안이 왜 저분 담광지기를 마도 제발 메시들이 아니 다나메겐 조이나다 소소 도르마토바 네 손도 dro고 바데기 로지와 디소르레 아니 지 조조데 라마야고 당 상본데메 데 샤샤르 데 토네 소소 다나야고 메소이나 아니 지 라마야마야
You can also take, for example, Buddha Shakyamuni. So to him also, then there were other people who thought that we are same, except that he has that, one about the, the cubit, the radiance around him, and that hue, and then, or that he had that between his eyebrows, that the extraordinary hair. So other than that, then we are same, and so people who thought like that, then that didn't help them even seeing the Buddha in person. They were born in the hell realms, and like that, then even though if the Lama is a real Buddha, if we do not have that pure perception, then we cannot have benefited ourselves. So that's why then it is very, very important to train ourselves in this pure perception, so that then of course we also need an authentic qualified Lama to receive the teachings, yet we should also have this pure perception so that the Dharma can help us.
미 샤수도 전제와 지긴디 아니 잡지름부지기다 켐보레 두고레 라마레 로벤레 니 겐덴바 남바레 니 잡지름부지기 샬로 샤브제 남바레 대가나지 니 지 잡지름부지 로마 탐제나 오네타네 지 샹주 셈바다 셈마그라시 레이 삼동데 가랑원에 들리치는 삼동 고르게스 아레스나 아니 지 가란소 다 단다 저란소 먼저 사는데 초신도 왔어 초신기 타고라 다 상주 삼바다 라다 라모를 마도 는 데신도 과지들이 콜라 용에 거나 용거가 말어 왔어 대인데 잡저는 뭐지기 샬로다 잡저는 뭐지기 다 저와 여긴 탐제 문에 상주 삼바다 살라네 비기 보내드리라 이발라 아니 진남바 미 유스 렘데바 데다 부지레스네 나랑 거네 가디나 삼나데 땅게였어 문에 단에 나랑 가르쳐 그랬다 당나장에 되게 여매다 가시데 들지 삼나단 게였어 아 저한 소이나 뭐저를 개겐라고 삼나단 거를 때 뭐저기 experience 시지 이 되지는 게 시기였어
Then is to share my experience. Then I myself see my root teacher, His Holiness Palyul Rinpoche, who has come, the Buddha in human form, and seeing that. So if he's the Buddha in the human form, then whoever is connected with him, the Tulgus, Khembos, the Sangha members, and his attendants, everyone, then definitely, then if he is Buddha, then whoever is connected with him should be also the pure beings, and they cannot be ordinary. So in that way, then I try to train myself in that pure perception. I don't know how much I'm able to do that, but I tried my best to train in that way. For example, you have this the refuge tree, and in that refuge tree, then you have the Buddha surrounded by all those the Dagas, Dakinis, and all enlightened beings. So these the Buddhas are not surrounded by scary evil guys around them. So like that, then if there is a presence of Buddha, and whoever is connected with that pure being, then all of them, all Sangha members, then must be Buddha, the Bodhisattvas and pure beings. So this is how then I try to train myself in that pure perception, and then in this pure mandala.
니 산제게 송하라스 나이 진주 가조에 탑도 나야 제우 발바 자이 도다메스 송하라스
Buddha himself has said that however the mad my followers are still if you compare to other people, so even 100 of them is not incomparable to let's say that my worst follower.
인데 에너지 먼저 데이터 갱킹이 비자네 에너지 데 저런서 넘버 탐제라 에너지 가고네 에너지 투지 체스 슈에인
As I have this responsibility, then to all of you, then I want to really thank you all from my heart.
But dingne na chena basola tal lomare samsanda buchida energy karase lejere samsanda member samsanda member chalanzo changmala ngangone gujabius karasena ane chalanzo changma jabjere buchigi loma shadare.
I don't take you all like the people working here or come to like that. All of you taking as the student and with all connected to with Palyul Rinpoche. So all of you, I really respect you all from the bottom of my heart, and then respect everyone and see all of you as the student teacher mandala.
And that Tamandra buchinde number tamjela ni jesu iranga tuji chesho yin ene mahomba ina yanda missing ede ni ji ta jinge lawa na ji zodure mirab gemba zodure be zodure ina jabjerim buji unge obje jam zuje tembande ta ji sin namne gu bardo yung thoe de ta ngaran so changma gi nge res de ni mahomba na jang so na chue lob jong ya buji ni ji jabjerim buji gi tume ni nang shaba de ngaran so duk thoe chung so ina Tele Lagwa Sosa to Jam Yomanes, the Tamjiki, Ganyam, Kulnang, Tangana, nowadays, Mamba, and knowledges in the Shui in Tujichi.
I would like to especially thank all our staffs working so hard, and then the teaching staffs, then the monks, everyone collectively making this thing that retreat very successful. So I want to really thank all of you. Then as you see that the generations are getting old, and then then the new generation. So we should think in that way. They pass on this. You yourself practice the Dharma, and then think about continuing this this lineage, not just few generation until the end of this existence samsara. So we should make this happen. With definitely with the as the aspiration of our holiness, and then anyone who is working to fulfill the aspiration of the late holiness is that's the best dharma thing that you can do. That's the most positive karma that you can ever accumulate is to work for the fulfill the aspiration of your teacher, late holiness. So to all of you, then I again, from my bottom of my heart, request all of you to keep on continuing, and then to make this aspiration of the late holiness fulfilled.